There we go. All right, YouTube. We're talking today about side hustle versus side business, why you might want to legitimize your side hustle. So do me a favor, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and comment in the chat the name of your business and or brand so we can give you a business shout out. I want to know what you guys got going on. What's your side hustle, or have you already turned it into a legit side business? Talk to me this afternoon, y'all. Let me know what you got going on. So let me bring up YouTube so I can see the YouTube comments live and in living color as well. Bring up the YouTube chat. Skip that. All right, there we go. There we go. So let me see what we got as side hustles versus side businesses. Anybody who's got their side hustle, let me know where you're from. Let me know what your side hustle is, the name of your business and or brand. And we're going to compare side hustle versus side business. So when I say side hustle, one of the reasons people think that they don't want to do what it takes to legitimize their business, they're saying, Cortez, man, I don't got to fill out that paperwork, bro. I'm just going to do me, get my little money on the side, and I ain't worried about, no business. That's what people are really who are doing their side hustle, and they're saying, I get all of this, I might be braiding hair. I might be, in this case, we're going to use a mechanic in this case study, right? And you're saying to yourself, man, I don't got to pay no taxes, man. I like getting this straight cash. It's basically, money under the table. I'm not paying any taxes on it. So I'm good, bro. I don't need to go get me an EIN. I don't need to go and file no paperwork. I don't need to do none of that stuff, man. So we're going to talk about why you might want to reconsider that today. So let me give you your shout outs. I see Latasha out of Austin, Texas. What's the name of your business or brand, Latasha? Body by Bazelle, always in the building. Love you, Queen. Let's see, Dion, OTCU LLC in the building. Lee Love, my beautiful wife, is in the building. Who else do we have? OTCU is out of Las Vegas. Burn, Tennessee. Okay. All right, cool. So keep the comments coming. Let me know where you're from, the name of your business and or brand. Now let's talk about that number one thing that most people use as an excuse not to legitimize. Dion said mechanics is his side hustle. All right, so why, if you haven't already legitimized that side hustle, and go ahead and hit the share button for me, guys, if you guys have not already hit the share. So you got side hustle versus side business. Now, both of these guys make 50K on their job. 50K on the job. Now, I get a little nervous when I start doing numbers because I don't have my calculator handy. So you guys might have to keep me honest with the numbers, right? So both of these guys make 50K on their job. Now, side hustle money that came in from this mechanic, right? This is a mechanic. They both made 5K profit. All right, so they both make 50,000 on their job. They both make and they both made $5,000 in business, right? They're auto mechanics, so they travel, they go to people's houses, they have a little spot, people bring them their cars, and they get their side hustle on, right? So if you made $50,000 on your job, right, you're gonna get a standard deduction of $12,000. These guys are single, no kids, right? So they're getting a standard deduction of $12,000. So before taxes happen to anybody in this country, you will have to take away the standard deductions, right? So we'll take away 12,000 from the 50. So now they have 38K. This is what they're going to get taxed on based on their job. So basically, they have 38K, and at 25%, they're going to end up paying $9,500 in taxes, right? $9,500 in taxes. So if you subtract that from the 38K, what is that? 38,000 minus 9,500. We do the old school math. That's 18. That actually goes to 17. That goes to 10, 9, 10, 9. Oh, sorry, 0, 0. And then this goes to 10 minus 5 is 5. And then 17 minus 9 is 8. So now what they have is, after taxes, working their job, $28,500, right, is what they have. You guys keep me honest on my math, right? Now, you got to go back and add their 5,000 that they made in their side hustle. So you put the 5,000 back that they made in their side hustle, and now you're looking at 500 plus 3. So now they got 33K. They saying, Cortez, we're winning because we didn't pay taxes on that 5,000 that we made, right? Now I say, okay, that sounds good, but let's look at what happens if we legitimize our business, right? So I did the paperwork. I got me an EIN. I got me a fictitious name. I may have even gone out and set up me an LLC, right? I'm doing the same work. I'm doing the same work that I've always done. The same thing that I did over here to make the 5, I did over here to make the 5. So the first thing that we have to do is, because this is a legitimate business, we're going to report that we made $5,000, right? So that's going to turn this to $55,000 in income, right? Total income, 55K. Now, let's start looking at how we produce the 5K. The first thing that we have to look at is, let's see, 10,000 miles was driven by both of these guys, right? Because I had to keep going back and forth to the auto part store, to the junkyard. I had to drive to people's homes to get to service their vehicles and all that stuff. A few people actually, I had to go meet them on the side of the highway and help pull their cars and all that. 10,000 miles I put on my car. Well, at 50 cents a mile, that creates a $5,000 write-off. Right? So now I subtract the, this is income. I subtract the first 5,000. Now I'm down to 50K again, because I had $5,000 in tax write-off because of the miles that I drove. Did this guy drive some miles? Yeah, but his business ain't legitimized, so he can't take the $5,000 tax write-off, right? Now, what else do these guys do? They both have cell phones, right, that they use. People call them, and that's how they make their appointments, and that's how they know whose car to go deal with, all of that good stuff. So that's another $1,000 in cell phone bills every year. So 1K in write-off. So we're actually going to do cell phone, internet together. So we'll do 2K. So now we subtract another 2K. Now we're at 48K, right? Now, you guys understand that these are mechanics. They spend money on tools every year, right? Tool rentals, everything that they need to help get these jobs done. So we're going to say tools. They spent another $3,000 on tools that they own, replacing tools, and then tools that they may have rented. So now we're talking about $3,000 in tool rental, right, as a tax write-off. So now we're going to take away another 3K. Uh-oh. My bad. Let me turn that off real quick. Let me turn off these notifications. My bad, y'all. I got excited about doing this, right? So now you take away another 3K in 2 rentals. Now you're talking about 45K, right? We're getting this income down, right? We're getting this income down. Now watch this. This is just some of the expenses that they had, right? They took a trip to a car show, right? Out of state, drove out of state to a car show. It cost them $1,000 for that trip, right? Because they flew and they wanted to go learn about the new modern cars coming out and all that stuff. That's a necessary and ordinary expense for a car mechanic to be going to check out a car show, right? So that's another $1,000 that we're reducing this income, right? So now we have 44K. These are all tax write-offs that this guy don't get because his business is not legit, right? Now, because I have a legitimate business, I also did some Facebook ads. I get a lot of my customers word of mouth, but I spent $1,000 on advertising, flyers, and things of that nature, sponsored a local basketball team because I'm a legitimate business, right? So now I'm at 43. So I subtract another 1,000. I'm at 43K, right? That's 43K because of the tax write-offs of my legitimate business versus the side hustle, right? Then this particular mechanic came and sat down with me and got some coaching. I charged him $1,000 to help him expand and grow his business, right? Spent $1,000 on that. So that's another $1,000 write-off, right? So that's 1K. That comes down to $42,000. But guess what? When I coached him and talked about him legitimizing his business and how to take his business to another level, I said, do you know there's something called a simple IRA or a SEP IRA that's a tax deductible investment? So that 5K that you made in your business, you can put that in an investment account and that whole 5K becomes a tax write-off. He said, you know what? That sounds like a smart idea. So I'm going to take this whole 5K that I made in profit and I'm going to invest it. And that's going to bring me down to what? 37K, right? We're talking about the income, and this income is what's going to be based on how much taxes this person pays, right? So now this person with the legitimate business has got all of these tax write-offs, but guess what? They still work a regular job, which means they still get the $12,000 in common standard deduction. So you got to take out the 12K, and that's going to bring them down to $25,000. Right? Now, $25,000 taxed at 25% is $62.50. So they pay $6,250 in taxes, while my man over here paid $9,500 in taxes. And you said, Cortez, so we did all of this paperwork, we did all of this stuff, and all we did was save $3,000? That's because you ain't really paying attention if that's what you think. Not only did we save $3,000 here and lowered our tax bill, we spent money on the things that we already were going to spend money on. In addition to the $3,000 saved, we also got $5,000 in an investment account that this guy don't have. See, there's benefits to legitimizing your side hustle, right? Chances are this guy got some expenses in the mechanic industry that I'm not even aware of, right? What if he went and took some Con Ed. He spent another $2,000 or $3,000 on some classes to help him become a better mechanic, right? That's a tax write-off this guy don't have. This guy probably owns some books. He probably has looked at some YouTube videos and things that help him grow, but he's not getting a tax write-off for none of this stuff, right? Now, if we go over here and say this was his income after taxes, now he has to pay for all of his expenses after taxes. He got $33,500, but he still spent $3,000 on tools. So that comes off of his after-tax income. So now he's down to $30,500. He still got a cell phone bill. He still got putting miles on his car. He's got maintenance. He still got an internet bill. He still probably took some trips. None of that stuff gets written off for him. He has to take all of that stuff on his after-tax income. Because somebody told him it's cool to just be working your little side hustle. You get this money tax-free. You don't got to report it to the government. So this is why a lot of people operate in side hustle mode. But look at all the benefits from legitimizing the hustle. And the only difference between these two people is this guy filled out a little bit of paperwork and he keeps record of all of his expenses. This guy filled out no paperwork and he probably ain't keeping a record. So he don't know how much he spent to make this $5,000. See, this guy with no record keeping, he might have spent $10,000 to make $5,000. But without a business, without legitimizing, without record keeping, without tracking, without treating his hustle like a legitimate business, he don't even know he spent $10,000. He think he's in the red, or he think he's in the black because he counted $5,000 and paid no taxes on it. But when you add his miles, when you add his tool cost, when you add all the ripping and running, when you add the additional wear and tear on his car, when you add everything that it costs him to generate this $5,000, he might not even be in the profit. Right? All this guy did was a little bit of paperwork, and then he started keeping records and tracking his business like a real boss. That's it. They do the same stuff, but he's getting all of these benefits while he's getting none of them, right? Let's talk about some other non-tangible benefits. This guy has got all of his money running through a bank. This guy does not, because he thinks he's got to hide his money from Uncle Sam. So he don't bank with the money that he's getting. This guy, while his $5,000 in cash, a profit is coming through his business, probably 10, 12, 13,000 of revenue ran through his business account. He's building a business banking relationship. Right? This guy, not so much, right? This guy sponsored a local basketball team. He's building relationships with community that's promoting his business, right? This guy, not so much, because he understands the power in legitimizing the business. This making sense to y'all? Is making sense, or am I losing you, right? So you got to understand, man, that legitimizing your business has far more benefits than not, right? This guy, because of the little bit of paperwork that he has, if he did start to have children, he's got an asset that he can pass down to his children. Come on. This guy has an asset that he can pass to his children. You can't pass a side hustle to your kid unless you teach them the side hustle. This guy can have a daughter who never turned a wrench in her life, but he can pass this asset to her, and all she got to do is hire somebody to run it, and she still makes money from what her dad put together forever. You guys starting to see how there's a huge difference between running your side business versus running a side hustle? There's a huge difference between operating with a certain level of excellence versus operating with a quote hood mentality. Quote, I'm getting over on the government mentality. No, man, that's a broke person's mentality to say I'm getting over on the government because I'm making cash and paying no taxes. A wealthy person's mentality says, I'm going to partner with Uncle Sam, take advantage of all of these tax codes, these tax laws, and I'm going to write off all the expenses that I can and minimize my tax liability. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just going to do things the right way. That's the difference between your side hustle and a side business. A little bit of paperwork and tracking your expenses. A little bit of paperwork. You go to the Secretary of State website and you can file your fictitious name for about 12, 15 bucks, right? You go and to the IRS website and get you an EIN number for free. If you wanted to take it to another level, you can go ahead and file you an LLC, anywhere from $50 here in Missouri to about $250, depending on the state that you're in. A little bit of paperwork, and guess what? Those costs are all tax write-offs too. A little bit of paperwork, then you get you a bookkeeper, or you make sure you get you some sort of app like the Cash Flow Manager and start tracking your expenses. Now you can see on paper this asset that you're building. Your side hustle ain't an asset, man. Legitimize that thing. Now it becomes an asset, right? Did you guys know that if this guy makes $5,000 per year in profit with his legitimate business, that asset is worth $50,000? Because you take the profit that you make in your business and you multiply that by 10. If he's making $5,000 per year in this business, a smart businessman will come along and buy his business for $50,000 to create a $5,000 passive income based on that asset right there. How much is somebody going to come to you and buy your side hustle for? The one that you don't even know the numbers to. You don't even know how much you spent to make the 5K. Right? It's a difference. Legitimizing your side hustle versus continuing to operate in a quote hood mentality. So let me know your thoughts on this. If you guys want more of this kind of training, education, and coaching, I set up a free business academy called Thornton Business Academy. Go to www.thorntonbusinessacademy.com, enroll for free, and you can get more of this kind of education, more of this kind of teaching, more of these kinds of strategies and investments. Also there's branding and marketing, there's internet marketing stuff. I'm building the largest free resource library online right there in that website. So you go get a ton of free courses right now, free downloads, ebooks, all of that kind of stuff, man. I just want to help you understand the power and business-based wealth. See, most of us want to build wealth, but we're trying to do it without business ownership. That's now how it works here in America, y'all. If you're going to build long-term generational wealth, you're going to have business ownership in some capacity. Either you're going to own and run your own business, or you're going to invest and own pieces of other people's businesses. But business ownership is a key component in wealth generation. So go sign up for your free account, Thornton Business Academy. Check it out. Leave me a review. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, leave me some questions. Let me know some things that you would like to see me teach on, give you my opinion on some of this stuff. I would love to know what you guys want to hear and what you guys want to learn as it relates to business, so I can keep these kinds of videos coming, man, because the name of the game is to sow seeds to help people expand and level up. If you run any sort of side hustle, man, there's too many benefits of running it in a legitimate way for you not to. It's not hard. If you join Thornton Business Academy, then you have me as a virtual coach to kind of help you through that whole process. But it just makes sense to build your business the right way. Go ahead and lay that foundation, because what a mess around and happen to this guy who's running this side hustle, he mess around and blow up, so to speak. All of a sudden, everybody wants him working on their cars. And he don't even have the foundation to go and hire somebody. He don't have the foundation to properly manage what he's got going on, because he's not running it in a legitimate way. Once it blows up, then he's scrambling to figure out how to legitimize it, when he could have legitimized it on the front end. And then all he has to do is scale up from there. Cool? So that's it for today's Lunch and Learn, man. I always appreciate y'all hanging out with me, man. I'm just doing what I feel I've been called here to do, and that's help people build wealth through entrepreneurship. And we don't even got to talk about this guy getting business credit and all kinds of stuff to scale his business up. Got investors ready to invest in him, all this kind of stuff. We didn't talk about this guy, since he uses his own garage for some of this stuff, him leasing his garage from his personal self to his business. That creates another write-off. Man, it just gets stupid bananas, man, when you really start to understand this stuff. And it's worth taking the time to do. So if you're running a side hustle, turn that thing into a legitimate side business. And then ultimately it can become your primary full-time business. And that asset can pay your children forever and ever and ever. So I'm your man, Ace Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor. Until I talk to you next time, get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every one of you. Peace out, y'all.